All right, let's dive in. Today we're exploring Brandon Dawson's nine-figure mindset. A lot of you wanted to know the secrets behind building a thriving business, one that really leaves a mark. And, well, this book seems to have all the answers.
It really does. And we're doing more than just summarizing. We're
Yeah.
going deep, looking at the mindset shifts, the strategies, even those crucial moments that helped Dawson build not one, but several successful companies.
Yeah, exactly. And what's fascinating is that Dawson's journey isn't some, straight climb to the top. There are twists, setbacks, comebacks. He was even forced out of his own company. It makes you wonder what he took away from those experiences, how he used those lessons to later achieve even greater success.
Right, those setbacks, they often teach the most valuable lessons. Like take the story about Dawson as a teen in the walnut orchard.
Oh, yeah. That story perfectly captures Dawson's resourcefulness, even as a young guy. Most teenagers would hate that kind of chore, but he saw an opportunity there.
Exactly. Picture this. Teenage Brandon, faced with this huge walnut orchard that needs harvesting. Instead of complaining, he sees a chance to make some serious cash. Rallies his classmates, organizes the harvest like a well-oiled machine, and ends up with a hefty profit.
More than just the money, though, right? Shows something about his mindset. He could have just gone through the motions, but he thought, how can I make this a win-win? Pretty impressive leadership, even back then.
Absolutely. He just has this knack for seeing opportunities where others might see obstacles, that resourceful, problem-solving mindset. It's a theme throughout his journey.
Almost like a sneak peek at that patience for life approach he develops later. By the way, didn't you mention a connection to President Reagan somewhere in all this? Now I'm really intrigued.
Oh, we'll definitely get to that. But first, let's jump ahead a bit to Dawson's early days at Starkey, the hearing aid company his stepdad founded. That's where he really learned the ropes of sales, developed that resilience you mentioned.
Wasn't all smooth sailing at Starkey, though, was it? It seemed like a real trial by fire. And he even admits he didn't have much formal leadership training back then. Do you think that lack of training affected him later on, like when he was pushed out of his own company?
It's a good question. On the one hand, that sink or swim environment at Starkey probably made him resourceful, quick on his feet. But maybe with more structured leadership training early on, he might have handled the challenges at Sonus differently.
Let's talk about Sonus. This was Dawson's first shot at building his own company, and it made him millions. But then he was forced out. Looking back, do you think he regrets taking Sonus public? Could he have done anything differently?
Hindsight's 2020, right? He does admit that letting a private equity firm get controlling interest was a mistake, led to him being pushed aside when they brought in a new CEO to sell the company.
Sounds like a classic case of losing control of your own creation. That must have been devastating.
It was. But as we'll see, Dawson is really good at turning setbacks into opportunities. This was a wake-up call. Made him face the fact that he was a boss, sure, but not a true leader. He needed different skills to reach the success he really wanted.
And this is where the University of Hector comes in, right? Sounds like Dawson was ready for a major leadership upgrade.
Exactly. Enter Hector Lamarck, Dawson's golf buddy and his first real mentor. Hector was a successful entrepreneur, led in a way Dawson had never seen. Introduced him to the idea that leadership isn't about power over others, but empowering others.
That's a huge shift for someone who'd always been so focused on his own success. What were some key lessons Dawson took away from this mentorship? Did Hector give him any specific books or tools?
He did. First assignment was John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Introduce Dawson to the leadership lid, this idea that your limitations as a leader can actually hold back the entire organization.
So you're holding everyone back, yourself included, without even realizing it.
Precisely. And one of the laws that really hit home for Dawson was the law of addition. This law says true leadership isn't about you getting ahead, it's about helping others get ahead. That was a game changer for him.
It's interesting, though, because that seems to clash with his earlier experiences. Remember the story about him pitching for his first $1 million? He told the investors his all-or-nothing mindset made him the best bet. That's pretty focused on his own success.
It is, and maybe that's part of what he realized later on, that a purely self-focused approach only takes you so far. To build a truly great, lasting business, you need to create a culture where everyone thrives.
And that's exactly what he sets out to do with his next venture, Audigy, right?
Yeah.
This one seems totally different from his past experiences, built on collaboration, empowerment.
You got it. Audigy was Dawson's attempt to create a company that wasn't just about profits, but about empowering employees and business owners alike. He called it a reverse consolidation of small businesses, bringing them together to share resources and gain collective power.
Okay, now I have to hear more. How does a reverse consolidation even work? What was Dawson's vision for Audigy, and how did he actually make it happen? So last time we were talking about Dawson starting Audigy, his innovative reverse consolidation of small businesses, it seemed like he was trying to create something really different.
Oh, he was. To really understand Audigy's success, we got to look at how this reverse consolidation thing actually worked. Think about it. Independent hearing aid clinics, they're struggling to keep up with the big companies. Dawson brings them together under the Audigy name, giving them access to shared resources, training, marketing power, all that.
So he's leveling the playing field, giving these smaller businesses a chance to compete. But wouldn't that create like a franchise feel, where each business loses its own unique identity?
That's where Dawson's focus on personal growth and alignment comes in. He believed that real success comes from helping people reach their goals while they're contributing to the company's mission. He even made this framework called PPF, personal, professional, financial, to help employees figure out their aspirations and how those fit with the company's goals.
Got it. So it's not about just fitting into a mold. It's about fostering ownership and purpose within the bigger organization.
You got it. And that leads us to the Patients for Life approach, which really reflects this idea. It's not just about selling hearing aids, it's about building long-term relationships with patients, going above and beyond, becoming like a trusted partner in their hearing health journey.
Okay, that Patients for Life approach sounds fantastic on paper, but some might say it's a bit too idealistic. How do you actually build that deep trust and loyalty in such a competitive market? Did Dawson have any specific strategies? How did he make this actually work in the real world?
He did. He knew that exceptional customer service was the key to those lasting relationships. And it wasn't just talk, he made it part of Audigy's culture. Extensive training for employees, focusing on empathy, really listening to patients, going that extra mile to solve problems.
So it's not just the product, it's the whole experience. And it seems like it paid off big time, right?
Yeah.
Audigy achieved some pretty impressive financial results from what you said.
They did. Audigy hit that magic number, $250,000 revenue per employee. And they kept that consistent profitability. But Dawson is also honest about the fact that this success came with a price, personally.
Yeah, that's important to remember. Even with outward success, there's often more to the story. You mentioned before that Dawson went through a divorce during this time. I think the demands of building Audigy played a part in that.
Dawson himself admits that being so focused on work, it strained his personal life. He was so driven, sometimes he neglected the important things. It's a good lesson for any entrepreneur, right? Achieving balance in life, it's a constant process.
It's a reminder that success shouldn't come at the cost of your well-being or your relationships. So, how did Dawson handle this personal transition? Did he take a step back from Audigy to reevaluate things?
He did, sort of. This is where Natalie, his wife now and business partner, comes into the picture. Their story's pretty unique, not just because they're both entrepreneurs, but because of their age difference, which they talk about openly in their podcast, Age Gap Realness.
All right, now this is getting interesting. Didn't they end up teaming up with Grant and Elena Cardone, those powerhouse entrepreneurs?
They did. Dawson and Natalie wanted to learn from people who had achieved the level of success they were aiming for. And the Cardones, they fit the bill perfectly. Plus, they really admired the Cardones' focus on personal growth, strong relationships, which resonated with them, especially after Dawson's experience with his previous marriage.
Interesting how Dawson's journey has come full circle. From those early days of putting personal success above everything else, to now seeking out mentors who value relationships and balance. What was it about the Cardones that made them such great mentors? Did they have similar business philosophies?
They did. All four of them are big on personal development, pushing boundaries, but their partnership is even stronger because their skills complement each other so well.
You mean like Dawson's expertise in operations combined with the Cardone sales and marketing mastery?
Exactly. And this collaboration, it led to the 10X 360 program, a complete business growth system that combines all their strengths. Like they formed an entrepreneurial dream team.
So we've seen Dawson go from a teenage entrepreneur to a seasoned business leader, from solo ventures to powerful partnerships. But through it all, there's this constant theme of learning and evolving. Dawson seems to always be seeking new knowledge, new perspectives, new ways to refine his approach to success.
You're spot on. And that's what makes his book, Nine-Figure Mindset, so engaging. It's not just a memoir. It's like a collection of all the lessons he's learned, the principles he's used to achieve incredible success, the mindset shifts that helped him overcome challenges and keep pushing himself.
Which leads us to the core of this deep dive, figuring out those core principles for achieving entrepreneurial success. We've touched on some like mentorship and the patience for life approach, but I'm excited to dig into those actionable insights that our listeners can actually use, starting today.
Absolutely. And one of the most fundamental principles Dawson emphasizes is self-discovery. He says you can't build a successful business without understanding yourself first, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, and especially your why.
He even mentions that loves and hates list exercise in the book, right? The one where you write down everything you love and hate doing in your business.
That's the one. It's a simple exercise, but it's powerful. Helps you see what truly energizes you and what drains you. Helps you figure out your ideal role in the business and what tasks you should delegate or outsource.
That makes sense. It's like they say, focus on your strengths, hire for your weaknesses. But let's be real. Delegating can be tough, especially for entrepreneurs who are used to doing everything themselves.
Dawson talks about this. He calls it the entrepreneurial dilemma. He says entrepreneurs often have trouble building teams because subconsciously they want everyone to be just like them, independent, driven, sharing the same vision. But that's just not realistic.
So how do you get past this? How do you go from being the one who does everything to being a leader who empowers others to take charge and excel in their roles?
Dawson stresses the need to shift your focus from doing to leading. That's a crucial change for any entrepreneur who wants to grow their business. He gives specific strategies for developing those leadership skills, like setting clear expectations, providing training and development opportunities, and creating a culture of accountability.
Makes sense. It's about creating a system where everyone knows their role, has what they need to succeed, and feels empowered to do their best.
Exactly, and that's where the PPF framework we talked about before comes in. Dawson says use it not just for personal goal setting, but also for team meetings, performance reviews, make sure everyone's aligned with the company's vision, understands how their individual work contributes to the bigger picture.
So it's about creating that shared purpose, making sure everyone feels like they're part of something bigger. But building a great team, it's more than just systems and frameworks, right? It's about human connection, motivation, inspiring people. How does Dawson address that human side of leadership?
He talks about positive persuasion. It's not about micromanaging or giving orders. It's about inspiring your team, believing in them, and fostering a can-do attitude. He gives practical tips on how to communicate well, give good feedback, and celebrate successes.
Creating an environment where people feel valued, respected, and motivated to give their best. It's about building a team that's more than just individuals working together. It's a real powerhouse. But what happens when things get tough? Life throws curveballs, and business is no different.
You're right. That's why Dawson has a whole chapter on thriving in crisis. He says tough times can actually help us grow, be more innovative. He wants entrepreneurs to see obstacles as opportunities, and he gives a framework for navigating those tough situations with resilience and resourcefulness.
Reminds me of that saying, never waste a good crisis. But how do you actually do that? What specific strategies does Dawson recommend for not just surviving, but thriving when things are uncertain and unpredictable?
He stresses the importance of being prepared. He says successful entrepreneurs don't wait for a crisis to hit before figuring out what to do. They think ahead, make contingency plans, and see obstacles as chances to grow.
So it's about being flexible, being able to adapt and change course when things don't go as planned. Like having a backup generator for your business. When the power goes out, you're not left in the dark.
Exactly. And just like you'd test that generator to make sure it works, Dawson says entrepreneurs should rehearse for crisis situations by running through different scenarios, having clear plans.
That's smart. It takes the fear and guesswork out of those stressful situations. But sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't something outside, right? It's our own limitations, those negative thoughts and self-doubts that hold us back. How does Dawson address those?
He dedicates a whole chapter to creating abundance, and it's not just about money. He argues abundance is a state of mind that brings in opportunities, resources, and good outcomes.
It's believing there's enough for everyone, and your success doesn't mean someone else fails.
Right. Dawson wants entrepreneurs to shift from thinking there's not enough to thinking there's plenty. He says success isn't a pie to be divided, it's a feast everyone can enjoy. He talks about aligning your beliefs with your goals and acting in ways that show an abundant mindset.
So it's not just about positive thinking, it's about acting from a place of abundance, believing you have the resources and support to achieve your goals. But how do you actually make that mental shift? Does Dawson have any tips?
He does. He talks about money seeds, investing in people, projects, causes that match your values and can help you grow. It's not about giving money away expecting something back directly. It's about planting seeds that benefit everyone in the long run.
Like, the more you give, the more you receive. But it goes beyond money, right? Abundance could be relationships, opportunities, ideas, even peace and fulfillment.
You got it. And this brings us to another key principle, mentorship and collaboration. Dawson really believes in seeking guidance from people who have achieved the success you want.
Makes sense, right? Why start from scratch when you can learn from those who've been there? We saw this with the University of Hector and his partnership with the Cardones.
Exactly. And Dawson emphasizes finding the right mentors. He says, ask yourself, are these people living examples of what I'm trying to do? Have they done it before?
So it's about finding people who not only have the experience, but are also happy to share their knowledge, who really want to see you succeed.
Right, and it's not just about taking, it's about giving back, too. As you grow, you'll have valuable things to share with others coming up behind you.
It creates a great cycle of learning and growth where everyone benefits, reinforces the idea that success isn't about winning while someone else loses. There's plenty to go around, and we can all achieve amazing things by supporting each other.
Exactly. And that collaborative spirit is important, not just in mentorship, but in building a strong team.
We talked about teamwork before, but I'd like to go deeper. What does Dawson say about creating a culture where everyone feels valued, respected, motivated?
He stresses clear communication, shared values, and a system for aligning individual goals with the company's objectives. He also talks about accountability, where everyone takes responsibility for their work and success is celebrated together.
So creating an environment where people feel empowered to take ownership, their voices are heard, and their contributions are recognized. It's about a team that's more than just a group of individuals. It's a force to be reckoned with.
Exactly. And that's what it takes for the kind of success Dawson describes. It's not about shortcuts, it's about the right mindset, a strong team, and pursuing your vision with passion, purpose, and excellence.
It's a journey, not a destination, isn't it? And what's great is that everyone can take this journey, no matter their background, experience, or where they are now.
Absolutely. And that's why Dawson's book is so inspiring. It's like a roadmap to success that's easy to understand, actionable, and empowering.
Welcome back. As we wrap up our deep dive into nine-figure mindset, one thing that keeps popping up is the importance of mindset. Seems like that's the foundation for everything else.
It really is like an underlying current that affects everything. You can have all the best strategies, but if your mindset isn't right, if it's not aligned with your goals, you won't reach your full potential.
It's the base everything else is built on. And Dawson's journey really shows that. Remember how he went from feeling defeated after Sonus to embracing a totally new way of thinking about leadership and success?
Yeah, like that experience forced him to face his limiting beliefs and become a more empowered version of himself. He had to shift his mindset to reach a different level.
Exactly. And he wants other entrepreneurs to do the same. He talks about challenging those negative thoughts, the self-doubt that holds us back. He even gives a framework for overcoming challenges, the 4 A's: acknowledge, accept, act, attack.
Yeah, I love that framework. So simple, but so powerful, like a step-by-step guide to turn obstacles into opportunities.
And you break it down for us?
Sure, first you got to acknowledge where you're at. Can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? So many entrepreneurs, they get stuck in denial or blame, and that stops them from taking ownership and moving forward.
Trying to drive with the parking brake on? Lots of effort, but not getting very far.
Exactly. So you've acknowledged the challenge, now you got to accept it. Doesn't mean giving up or saying you'll fail. It means letting go of that resistance and embracing the situation. It's moving from why me to, okay, this is happening. What can I learn? How can I use this?
That's shifting your perspective, finding the opportunity within the problem. But acceptance alone won't do it, right? You have to actually do something.
Absolutely. That's the 3rd A, action. Once you've accepted it, take action. Don't get stuck overthinking or analyzing everything to death. Just start taking steps towards where you want to go.
Like that saying, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Sometimes the best way to overcome fear or doubt is to just take that first step, see what happens. But taking action can be scary, especially when you're facing a big challenge. How do you go from those hesitant steps to that attack mode Dawson talks about?
That's where the 4th A comes in, attack. Once you start taking action, building momentum, you shift into that attack mode. Now you're going all in, focused, determined, relentlessly going after your goals, like that final push to break through a wall and achieve a breakthrough.
You mentioned before that one key to unlocking this attack mode is that abundance mindset. But for a lot of entrepreneurs, scarcity thinking is so ingrained. They've been told there's not enough to go around. Success is a zero-sum game. How do you break free from that and really embrace abundance?
Dawson offers a powerful shift in perspective. He asks, what if the biggest obstacle isn't the world around you, but the limits you put on yourself? What if you really believed anything was possible? That's the power of abundance.
Believing there's enough success, wealth, opportunity for everyone. It's about shifting from competition to collaboration, from scarcity to possibility.
And that change in thinking can open up so many possibilities. When you approach life with abundance, you're more likely to attract opportunities, resources, the right people to support your vision.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
Yep.
If you believe in abundance, you're more likely to create it.
You got it. And one powerful way to cultivate that abundance mindset is through giving back. Dawson talks about money seeds, investing in people, projects, causes that resonate with you and have the potential to make a positive impact.
Not about expecting something back directly, but about planting seeds of prosperity that ultimately benefit everyone, including you. The more you give, the more you receive.
Exactly. And this idea of giving back, it connects so well with mentorship and collaboration. When you have that abundance mindset in business, you're more likely to seek out mentors, collaborators, people who can help you grow. And as you grow, you naturally want to give back, support others coming up behind you.
Creates a fantastic cycle of abundance where everyone benefits from the shared knowledge, experience, support. It's building a community of entrepreneurs, all striving for success, not at each other's expense, but in a way that lifts everyone up.
That's a perfect way to put it. Dawson's book really shows that achieving nine-figure success isn't just about strategies, it's about the right mindset, strong relationships, and creating abundance that goes beyond just your own success.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into nine-figure mindset, what's that one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember? What's that piece of wisdom they can use starting today to make a difference in their journey?
I think the biggest message is this. Your biggest obstacle isn't out there in the world, it's the limits you put on yourself. What could you achieve if you truly believed anything was possible?
That's a powerful question to consider. It reminds us that the journey to success starts within. It's about cultivating abundance, seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, and surrounding yourself with mentors and collaborators who inspire you to be your best.
And remember, the most important step is the one you take today.
So what are you waiting for? Go out there and create your own nine-figure success story. We'll be rooting for you every step of the way.